Welcome to another CheapWineFinder.com podcast with a wine review. Surprise, surprise. And today we have let me grab the bottle and I'll tell you what we have. Bogle Vineyards, California Cabernet Sauvignon 2019. From Clarksburg, California. This wine is California label, meaning it came from two major AVAs. Clarksburg is an independent AVA. They're east of Napa, north of Lodi. And traditionally, 90% of Clarksburg's grapes were sold off to other wineries. They were the fill-in grapes. Like in Sonoma and Napa, I think you have to have 85% of the grapes have Napa on the label, but the other 15% could have been from Clarksburg. They do some really good wines there, and they do Petit Syrah, and actually they're getting to be really well known in the world for Chenin Blanc. It's it might be the next great Chenin Blanc wine areas in the next 5 years. You might be drinking all the rage Chenin Blanc, but this is a California Cabernet Sauvignon. I'm gonna take a sip, then we'll talk. I found this wine for $7.99 on sale, and it's really well made. Really well made. I don't know what I said. Rally well made, and it's been aged in American oak barrels for 1 year. Second use American oak barrels. I'll explain that. And the technical note says this is a wine that can be cellared for many years to come, which is rare. Actually, it's really rare since I bought this for $7.99 to find a red wine that actually has been in oak barrels for a year and has aging potentials. Usually you'll see 5 to 7 years, and many years to come seems to go farther than that, which indicates that the winemaker has great faith in the grapes and the winemaking techniques. And if the wine could stand up to a year in second use American oak barrels, it might be a pretty substantial wine, and it does taste great. So let me explain a little bit about oak barrels, if you will. Usually it's not that all important in value price wines. Some wines yes, some wines no. French oak barrels are a different species from American oak barrels. American oak barrels have a wider grain. French oak barrels are thought to be more subtle and give off more delicate influence. They're thought that by the French. I mean, Italians and the Spanish use American oak a lot of the times, but French oak does have its uses, and American oak does too. And since it has a wider grain, it does give off more. But since this is a second use, some of the oak already has gone into whatever is used for the first time, so it has less to do. So by using barrels that are used once, you're getting a more subtle oak flavoring, which is kind of the best of both worlds. And since oak barrels can cost $1,000 a piece, and these wines are made in good quantity, using it a second time lets you get the cost of each use down. So it's a win-win for everybody. I'm going to take another sip because now we're going to talk about what it tastes like. It is a smooth wine, but it has lots of flavors. It has that blackberry. It's got some vanilla, maybe some burnt caramel, some black pepper, some spice, creamy vanilla, tart cranberry, blueberry, plum, spice. Did I say spice? Kind of exotic spice. There's a lot going on here. It's kind of nice. It's it's got flavor. It's got length. I mean, I tell the story all the time talking to winemakers from Burgundy. If you tell them it's got great acidity and good length, they're thank you very much, because that's what they're going for. Great acidity and good length is one of the best things you can do to a wine. And this wine's got it. I'm going to take another sip. It's one of those, I don't grade the wine. I keep on saying that, but I'm going to be on my third sip. That tells you something about it. Yeah, for a winery's wine, and the Bogle's been around since the late 70s. They've been farming in California since the mid 1800s. They've been around a long time, and I read somewhere that they might have been the first people who planted vineyards in Clarksburg. Clarksburg is in the river delta that comes off of the San Pablo Bay. It's the only reason it's east of Napa. Those river valleys are what cools it off enough that you can grow grapes there. Same thing for Lodi. So there you go. It's a very economically priced wine with lots of flavor. You won't think this is a Napa Cabernet. I mean, that's not what it is. It is a really good value price Cabernet with some touches that you don't find in this area. The oak aging for one. And Bogle owns 1,600 acres of grapes everywhere. I'm not sure if this is an estate wine that from theirs or they bought some vineyards or bought some grapes from vineyards. But it's really good. And that's it for me, Domain Dave from CheapWinefighter.com. This is the part where I ask you to like us where you like your podcast. Just push a button somewhere. I don't care which one you push. Just don't push off on your computer. That'll mess things up. And that's it for me. We think I'm going to try to get a sparkling wine next just because we're getting towards the end of summer when we still want, some bright bubbles, but we're not ready for New Year's and that type of thing yet. So that's it for me. Stay warm or cool depending on where you're at. And I'll be talking to everybody in a couple of days. Adios. Keep it cheap. Bye-bye.